So we're here with Hunter Clarke on Man-to-Man Mondays. It's this thing that we do for the Stay Mentally Strong Instagram. And we're going to talk with Hunter about some things about his life.
Yeah.
22 out of his 25 years I've known Hunter. He is fantastic. At one point he worked for me in insurance and he was amazing. People love him. He's got a quality. You can see when he smiles, he brings people in. He's charismatic, and he is a very genuine person that everybody's around seems to love him, and he's very kind and keeps his anything negative to himself, which is a great trait to have, instead of passing it on. He's also about to be a new parent coming up right around Christmas time. Is that right?
Yeah, mid-December.
Just mid-December. That's awesome. It's going to be a girl.
Girl.
All right. And you're still working on names though.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's pretty awesome. I'm a new grandpa, so we're kind of I've watched him grow up with my daughter, and it's kind of fun seeing these guys have kids and watch them as parents. And then earlier my wife was asking me, he said, "You look good," and he's lost like 15 pounds. And what was the reason you said that you were losing weight?
Yeah,
you lost some weight.
Just to be in shape for when the baby gets here. Maria asked me why, and I just, after thinking about it, I just kind of wanted to be the best version of myself. And I mean, I've wanted to get in better shape for a while, but knowing that she deserves it as much as I deserve it, I feel like I owe it to me and the baby.
That's pretty awesome
to get in shape. So
I never thought of that at all. when we were having kids, I was just like, we're having a kid? Just trying to do my best to keep things straight and work a job and go to school and all that stuff. So that's pretty awesome that you're planning ahead for that kind of stuff. What are your thoughts? You grew up, you have an awesome dad that does things. I mean, everybody's got different dads and they all have strengths and weaknesses. What is it about your dad that you felt like helped you as a father and is going to help you to be a father?
There's lots of things about my dad. A lot of them I didn't understand when I was younger. I kind of interpreted it as he was being, harder on me than I saw other parents being on their kids, or, harder on me than even other siblings. But I understand now that he just wanted me to be successful, and he understood my, potential as a person. And so really he was just holding me accountable. But he always did it in a loving manner. And at the end of the day, he'd always let me know how much he loved me and cared about me. And I thought that he did a really good job of expressing that, even though he's a man's man,
so kind of getting on you.
Yeah, he'd be as stern as possible and really get on me and make sure that the lesson was learned. But
he also reinforced it and let you know, hey, I love you, I care about you, and you can be successful in your potential, right?
Yeah, and it's really benefited me. Like when I just in work and sports and other things, I've been able to kind of use the lessons that he's taught me to.
Well, I can see where one of those lessons was. I mean, he's used it really well. Coaching my son Mac and all those other boys. You get on them, and I'm the same way. I have no problem. Yeah, yell at them if they need to be yelled at, but you're always good. They know they all love you because they know that you care about them.
Yeah. At
the end of the day, and when everything's said and done and over, and so they're that they respond to that. I mean, it's like that's sports and life are the same. You let people know in the same way, and then they're they're going to be successful and perform.
And part of that's just being passionate about the sport and about the kids, but really just wanting them to succeed. You're gonna get emotional about that and want them to succeed. So
because that's the thing. I mean, you when and that's what I think as a dad, and even you're learning that and have learned it. You can see already what these guys need to do this because what it takes to get you to move forward.
And that they're capable of it. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times, especially with young adults and high school boys, they sometimes don't see everything that they're capable of, and so it can be frustrating when that they can do so much more, and you kind of you've got to get that out of them. So
and I think a lot of it is they lack confidence, right? And I mean, I know I can look back and go where I lacked confidence, and when that somebody believes in you, whether it's your coach or your dad, especially a dad, right? Then hey, you feel like you can go do anything because you've got people standing behind you that believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself at times. So I think it's pretty important.
like a lot of our relationship between me and my twin in middle school and high school was so much more competitive and just so much more.
So I know your dad pretty well. He was actually your dad was probably the first. He might have been the first person or a friend I had in Ogden when we moved here 22 years ago. Seriously, and he got me to go play basketball. So I know him really well, and he's a good dude, great dad. What about your brother, your twin brother Jaxon? Tell me about your relationship with him.
So with Jackson's my best friend, and I feel like almost everybody knows that these days. But it wasn't always necessarily that way, like especially in middle school and high school. I felt like things were always so competitive. Mm-hmm. I felt like oftentimes we were kind of, put against one another. Mm-hmm. And me being a competitive kid, I didn't allow myself to necessarily be the greatest friend for him. And I don't know if he feels that same way towards me, but I definitely could have been better and been closer with him. And I feel like now, having, experienced different things in lives, and we kind of, we're both married, we've kind of separated a little bit. It's allowed us to come back together, and mm-hmm. I get a chance to like talk to him as a friend. And
he's a new dad,
and he's a new dad,
so he's got some,
and
so a little bit ahead of you. He'll have some advice, right?
Yeah. So I ask him all the time about things, during pregnancy, and open up about some of my fears, some of my questions that I've had just in, the last few months with me and Addie having a kid on the way.
He brought up, so you said you talked to him about like fears and things like that. So mm-hmm. there's always fears, stresses, worries, anxiety we have in life, even if it's at the smallest degree. What, even throughout your life and up even to now, what do you look back at and recognize that when maybe a time where you had that, and then how did you work through it, or who helped you work through that, and in what way?
Yeah, first I feel really lucky because I feel like I've had a lot of people that have helped me when it comes to dealing with hard challenges or fears or doubts. And I feel like a lot of times those fears are really just doubts. Mm-hmm. Like whether it's me feeling like I'm not capable of doing something, work-wise, or in any circumstance, taking care of my family. Mm-hmm. I've been able to turn to my dad, to my brother, mm-hmm. even you when I worked with you, and we call each other every couple mm-hmm. months and have conversations. Yeah. But I think just being able to turn to friends is the biggest thing. So allowing myself to be a friend, and in turn having a friend that I can go to is definitely the thing that helps me most through challenges. And my wife does a great job too, being a friend for me. But
I think too, like when you say that, we've talked a lot about in this, on some of these other Man-to-Man Mondays, about community. And community, like it seems like for women, is they've got all their little things and activities or whatever they go do. Mm-hmm. And men, I was just talking with somebody about this the other day. It's sports. I think mm-hmm. a lot for me, like going and playing basketball. Yeah. I mean, that's on the weeknights, a couple times a week. Sorry about that. We go play basketball. And you weren't solving your problems or the world's problems, but just being around in that, having the camaraderie and that, and you had, people to lean on or talk to, it, helps, I think, take stress levels down. And we've talked a lot about that in this, that I think more men need to have a place to go mm-hmm. where there's community nowadays, so that it helps in, emotional areas, mental health. We're talking about community, and that sometimes for men it's playing sports or basketball, but I know, you've got an amazing, because I know them all, extended family. You guys have great relationships.
Another place definitely has been my family that I could go to. And I don't feel like I was always open to that. It really wasn't until I kind of had talked to my uncle, Jared, and everybody that knows Jared knows that he's one of the greatest guys around, but he struggles with a lot of things. He's had struggles with addiction. He's had about as many struggles as an individual can have. And the thing about Jared is he was one of the first people that like really expressed true, genuine concern for me and just wanting to know what was going on in my life for the sake of helping me and for the sake of just being a friend. Yeah. And I feel like person that I felt like I could talk to without being judged, no matter what it was. Like if I wanted to talk about, whatever situation, if it was something at school or
Yeah.
something that, I felt like, I wasn't good enough for something, I could talk to Jared about it because A, I knew that he had probably been through or felt something like that, but B, also that he wasn't going to judge me and that he was genuinely there to help me with an answer. And so I know that not every family is necessarily like that. Not every family is super open with talking to each other, but there are definitely people that feel that way about others, and whether that's in your community, whether that's a neighbor, whether that's a sister or an aunt or an uncle, people should be seeking out those opportunities to just listen and just care about one another.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good. Good. It makes me think of, we mentioned before that Sean, he didn't feel like he could do that or he could talk about stuff. And I mean, I remember, it was just hard for him to share and to be able to hear something like that. Or if there's people out there that hear something like that where, hey, there is somebody there. There always is, even though we think that there's not. There's a family member, there might be a friend that will listen non-judgmentally and help you. And even though it's hard, it's a big thing that you just got to reach out. I mean, I've always been that way where I don't, especially like this, I don't want to be filmed. I don't want to be on things. I don't want to put myself out there. If somebody asked you how things were going and it was going crappy, I'd just say, hey, great. And then because that's what you were going to say. You were programmed to say that and move on and build your walls and then keep all of the crap to yourself and just because you can go fix it, right? And we can't fix everything, but we can fix a lot of stuff if we have help from other people and we open up too. Yeah. So that's great that you had somebody like that. Yeah. And Jared, and I know your other family members in your extended family, there's, lots of people that are like that, in your family. So
yeah, and I feel like part of that is just reframing the way that we look at it. Like, I mean, we see movies and all the time where like no one would discredit Iron Man for asking the Avengers to help him fight Thanos. You know what I mean? Or whatever supervillain there is. Like it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help, and it's not a sign of inadequacy to go and seek somebody out that can help you be stronger, because in community we have to rely on one another to build something, to be more. And so I feel like it's just reframing that mindset of A, it being a burden, and B, it being a weakness, that really that's not the case. That's what friends and family are here for. That's what people want to be able to help with. And you never know, you could end up saving somebody else or helping somebody else just by asking them to be your friend in a moment where you need it, because then they feel like they've got a friend in return. Yeah. And so with Sean, I mean, like he was always so kind to me and so selfless. And I'll never forget, right before my mission, one of my permanent retainers broke. And anybody who knows Sean knows he was very serious about his money. But Sean was also the type of guy that asked if he could do mine for free, just to take care of me, because he knew I was in need right before I went on my mission. So, if I could have had a couple more conversations with him, I definitely would have, or just been more of a friend. But to me, he was, my friend's uncle. And so I didn't really open up to him as much as I could have, but people should.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's what's good about this, and what Gina and this is trying to do, and what we're trying to do with this is just to get it out there that it's, it's okay to, you need to reach out, even though, and there's people that aren't, and that's like you said, you're going to make just by helping somebody or talking to somebody, it might be when they most need it, and then it gives them a feel like they do have a purpose that hey, this person needs me, back. So that was good that you said that. And I feel like Sean was very selfless, but he was very quiet about everything he ever did for people. He didn't say a lot that way. He just wanted to help and do the best that he could, and that was his way. So this is it's been awesome listening to your thoughts, and I like what you said about reframing things, and it's been actually a privilege for me to be around you, Hunter, and watch you grow up. So Hunter, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. We love you, brother.
Love you too.
And your family to us.